All right, it's your man Brett from the skateboarding show. It's the day after NAS and we managed to survive. And we stopped by Midsummer Norton on the way back and I happened to bump into these guys. May you please introduce yourself?
I'm Pete, Camo Pete, as people know me as. Yeah.
Francois, Dirty South.
And explain a little bit about what you've done in your. There's a specific thing you've done in your history that is very skateboard related. Although I'd imagine you've both done quite a lot of stuff. But tell us the story with Three Amigos, please.
Yeah, we were two of the Three Amigos that set the shop up that people might know in Camden. That was back in 2009, I believe. I previously had a shop in Camden. I have a vintage clothing business I've had for a long time. Francois was in the vintage clothing business as well, and I had a skate shop in the back of that. The market got redeveloped and we had to move the skate shop out of there because we were offered a much smaller space, and a shop came up on Camden Road coincidentally at the same time that a new park had been built in Camden, which I'd been involved in, and so that's how Three Amigos started, really. I've known Francois for a long time. We both skated together, and we've both done business together, so we thought it was probably a good idea to try and do that together as well.
Do you mind if I ask how old you are, Pete? Or you can give us a ballpark figure if you want.
I'll tell you what, I have to work this out, because from when I was born, what year it is now, but I think 56, I think.
Is how old you are? Yeah, and when did you first start skateboarding?
Properly in the first wave of skateboarding, I think, probably 1976, 77 when it first came over from the States.
Okay.
I mean, before that we'd always done the roller skate and bit of wood thing. I grew up in a street full of kids and we were always building go-karts and skateboards and whatever, just to play on them. Yeah. What about you?
Scooters.
Yeah, you're more 80s.
How old are you, Francois?
I'm 43.
43,
and,
okay.
I was a BMXer and I saw Rodney Mullen, and man, it must have been 85 or 86, hot pants and all, skateboarding, they were playing punk rock, skaters were all there.
That's to hold it.
And we were all there on our BMXs at a place called Skate Escape, and I mean, literally, we just threw our bikes down and we're like, that's it. We just saw the whole subculture, like everything seemed.
So you saw him live?
Saw him live. Right. I still have the Polaroid pictures. It's incredible, like
amazing.
And all the local guys and I mean, it was just cool because it was like black guys and white guys, everybody, you know, all punk rock and really just all colorful at the same time, and just seemed like a lifestyle. So
okay, so you were saying 86, so there was like an actual vibrant punk
mid-80s,
scene, mid-80s, like the original punk scene was still up and going in those days, right?
And so I got involved and got me in the punk music, which I mean, basically I'm here in this country because of skateboarding.
It must have been the height of it, really.
It was the height of it. It was like, so, because when we got into mid-80s, it was Bones Brigade, period. So we were Bones Brigade, Vision Streetwear and all that. Then I remember one day, turned it on and was like Vision Geekwear. And we were like, none of that. We were like Skull Skates and Alva and all. We just went completely opposite. And when you're watching Thrash, and we were like wanting to be the bad guys, you know, and
So you were the Daggers crew. Not the Valley Boys.
Yeah, it completely kind of changed.
If you don't get that reference, then you're watching the wrong YouTube videos. Go and watch Thrashing.
So it was cool, and it all kind of went from there, and then it all kind of in a way went downhill, and we just kept going to jail and like. You know, skateboarding is not a crime. That's when all the stickers came. Literally, we were going to jail constantly for it. And
we're here in the UK.
No. I'm from America.
Right. Okay.
By the way, so this is all in America, and and it was just nonstop like that. And then we just got kind of skateboarding started transitioning. Oh, this is getting into now late '80s. Hip hop's coming around. Street skating's coming around in the transition, and we're kind of not really. This is when we're like. We're not skaters, we skateboard.
Right.
And then like we're getting fed up with jail, and then eventually it was like less and less skateboarding, and more hanging out, and getting more into trouble.
Sorry, there's a little kid learning to drop in over there.
Those joke skateboards with his feet all in line, like scooter stars.
You can't see any of this, but
we can. It's highly amusing.
He didn't know which way to stand. Oh, God, I'm getting scared.
He's being taught by somebody.
Do you remember when I had that
really know or shouldn't be teaching anybody?
Do you remember when I had that big Swedish girlfriend? I was teaching her how to drop it, and she broke her arm.
Oh, nightmare.
God.
So you
started off the subject.
Yeah. But, so when did you come to the UK, Francois?
I came to the UK in '96, and the funny thing was, I started skating again in the '96 sounded weird. In Atlanta, '96 Olympics around, and we couldn't drive.
Right.
So to get to work, I had to skateboard again, and it was like, ooh, kind of missed this. I'm skating on my old boards. Came to England, then brought my board over, and just kind of started skating everywhere. And then started going to Brixton, and then
meeting up with Pete.
Well, no. Then later, Pete's kind of like, why you got all this skateboard stuff? Isn't that kind of what happened? Yeah. You're like, why do you have selling all this original skateboard things? Because I had a lot of unused skateboard. And so I got back into it. And
so you two got to know each other from the vintage
clothing we came together through vintage clothing, and then I was always stoked on skating. I found out that he was stoked on skating as well, and I'm like, we should go skating, man. And
but you had some of the vintage skate gear. Did you ever trade in the vintage skate gear, or was it just
not really?
Stuff for
No. Mine was more kind of youth culture.
Right. Okay.
Stuff, skinhead mods, leather jackets, all that kind of kind of gear. Which is kind of it is still, although I do a lot of other stuff as well now.
Right. Because at a strange point in time, I had almost a whole little stall. Strictly everything was dead stock, so it was all kind of sportswear, airwalks, and just completes and decks and original sweatshirts, Bones Brigade stuff. And that's when I was going to Shiner and stuff like that, and I was just getting the mother load.
I've heard these stories. Sean Goff tells me.
It's all long gone.
Just boxes of original cryptos and that sitting around.
I still have stuff, which is funny enough.
Okay.
But I mean, Snake 70 skate. It was just wall to wall filled with stuff, and that's
it was a mad setup as well, wasn't it? Because it was just these old houses, and they were their warehouses, and you went in there, and there's just like this piles of stuff falling down. He's at it again, sorry.
Little man's crazy.
He wants to skate though. He wants to skate.
He's mad for it.
Scary.
Get on it.
6 inches high, folks.
Hey, that board. Ooh, wow! Look, he's going for it.
He's proper good. Yeah. Mum's expressing some. Oh, go on, lad.
Yeah.
He's proper mad for it. We'll have to go and give him some lessons.
Get a bit of film of him later.
So sorry that we're jumping around a bit. So you came over in '96. You two got to know each other. Then what? And then the impulse for the shop, as you were saying, was that the skate park in Camden opened.
Yeah, there'd been a skate shop that had opened up there, but it hadn't really worked out. The guy, he didn't. For various reasons, he kind of, after a couple of years, he just went out of business, and the shop was empty, and it coincided with the market where we were being redeveloped, and I had to move the shop out of the vintage shop,
right? And
I didn't have enough space for it, and it was actually Nick at Def who said to me, "You should do that shop." And I thought,
Nick Zorlak,
I
good guy.
don't really have time to do a skate shop myself because I've already got another business, but maybe I can kind of work it if I bring a couple of other people in. Francois was always stoked on skating. I'd already done business with him, so I knew what I was kind of getting into. And it was kind of
helping you out in the other shop.
Yeah. So I got him. I got another guy, Kev, as well. He was a young skater, and I thought between us it could be quite good because
it's got to work. Surely you're all interested.
We've got a young guy who can kind of handle the sort of younger crowd. You got Francois, who's the 80s,
mid-generation,
and then was me, 70s. We covered all the bases, and it kind of did work reasonably well for quite a while. But then, things change, people move on, and it ended up with just me and Francois. And then Francois' commitments overtook him, and he was going away a lot, and it was kind of left up to me a lot, and I never really wanted to do it on my own.
Yeah. Okay.
so eventually something had to give, and I had to hand it on to somebody else, you know. And as you can see, I'm not quite as young as I used to be. So
and just briefly, I know it
surprisingly all worked out. Whoa! God.
Yeah,
it all worked out in the shop.
I'm stoked that it's still going, and people really love it, and it's really, you know, it's got a really kind of strong feeling. One of the reasons for setting it up as well was I wanted to set up a shop that I'd want to go to, and also that didn't vibe people out, because I'd been to skate shops and people there were a little bit too cool.
Right.
And I always thought that's putting people off skating. It's not encouraging people into skating. And I'm stoked on skating. And when I see a little kid like the little kid over there trying to drop in, like Francois was pointing now.
Yeah, almost.
Move that back a little bit.
You know, that's what it's all about. It's about a new generation. And it's about encouraging people to come and join this thing, because it's such a great thing. You know, it's not about vibing them. And if you're putting them off, you shouldn't be in the business of skateboarding.
No, you should be encouraging. That's not what it's about.
You should be encouraging people.
And talk about skating. I know we touched on your history, and I was really interested in that. But I'm also interested in the slight sort of difference between the American, because my impression, and the gap got less and less as time has gone on. But we were always in the UK a little bit behind you guys. So you, for example, you mentioned the late 80s and the hip hop scene coming in. I started in '91. And if you weren't wearing Puma States and Gazelles and had baggy trousers and listening to like West Coast American hip hop, apparently you weren't a skateboarder.
Yeah.
Which isn't true, but that, you know, when you're a young impressionable kid,
listen, in the 70s, America was like going to the moon.
Yeah, right.
People didn't go there. There was the odd person you met who had been there and that, but people didn't go there.
So picking up the trends and
when
that
I
from
saw
there,
the magazines, which I used to buy avidly, you know, and look at all these kind of perfect sunsets and perfect concrete waves and stuff, and then I looked at what we had in the UK. They're all worlds apart, you know, and I could only dream of having like a Fiberflex deck. My mum and dad didn't have any money, and I had a little plastic little effort, you know, but we did what we could.
And we didn't have second-hand stuff over here in the UK.
Not really, no. I was living out of London at that time as well. My mum and dad had split up, and I was living up in East Anglia, and I remember coming down to South Bank, and we heard John Sobolewski was coming down there to do some slalom and stuff, and we were like, whoa, this guy's, we've seen him in magazines, you know, he's kind of hooked up, he's going to have all this, and we got down there and all these guys had, you know, really cool stuff, and we were with these really bad like skateboards and scruffy clothing and stuff. It was totally different.
So sorry, I know we're jumping about, but coming back to the Three Amigos, you were saying something had to give. What did you do next with that then? Because you were busy with understandably your own commitment. Because I take it you were still doing the vintage stuff while you were doing Three Amigos. You were still doing the vintage stuff. Yeah. Your man Kevin that you talked about sounds like he was a little bit younger.
Yeah.
So
by that time he was gone.
He'd gone off and done opened up another shop, which you know.
Yeah, he was only around for a year,
which didn't really work out either. It got to the stage where I was doing that as well as doing my vintage clothing thing, and I just had no time. I was doing 7 days a week, and my missus was on my case. You know,
understandably.
Something had to give, and I really wanted the shop to keep going. And I spoke to Richard, who maybe you're going to speak to in a minute.
We'll see.
And also Sam, who had been helping me out at the vintage shop sometimes.
Right. Okay. Sam in the white t-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. And I said to them, you know, I'm thinking about kind of giving the shop up and that, but I'd really like it if somebody could take it over. I'd actually kind of half spoken about it with someone else, but they didn't know and they weren't sure of it. But Dick seemed really up for it, and I thought in my mind he had what it took to do it as well. You know, he's quite focused in his work and stuff, and it is a business, and you do have to treat it like a business. Right. You know, you can't half-ass it. Everybody thinks,
it's a skate
must be
shop.
Great to have a skate shop.
Yeah.
It's a business. It's a business. You got to to put effort into it, and you got to feed it. Otherwise, it goes like the way of all the other skate shops. It lasts 2 years, and then you realise there's no money in it. And
that thing about skating all day, like I know enough people who own skate shops, man, and these people are working like 20-hour days, 7 days a week. Like they ain't been skating since the day they opened the shop.
If you want to make money, go and do some other business.
Go and be a lawyer or something, or an architect.
You ain't going to make no money in skating.
Yeah.
But if you love skating and you don't mind, making it your business, then it's a good thing, and you can live cheaply. It's a good thing to do, but be prepared.
Yeah,
I gave it 13 years, and but I was getting on, and I like skating. I want to skate.
Yeah.
So now it's time to do it. Dick's a bit younger than me,
right,
Richard, and he's got the enthusiasm for it, so
he's just overweighting on that 360, isn't he? Right?
He can carry on with it.
Yeah. Dick's trying to film. Who's our man? Who's Stripey over there then?
That's his son.
Is it?
Josh, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
He's just over that 360 a bit too much, isn't he?
I have to say, getting back to the shop as well, Dick's really made a good. He's been there 3 years now, I think, and he's really moved it on. He's got the whole thing with Sailor Jerry and the big mural outside. He changed a lot of stuff with it. But I said to him, when you take over, it's your thing. You do it the way you want to do it.
Right. Okay.
I love that. I went in the shop and I got all new setups, and I'm like, this is completely different, and it should be.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm glad. Like, the reason I don't want to thrash out old boards is when we had the company and it was our own day, and I'm like, that's not. And I'm like, totally happy support. It's a new thing. And like, oh yeah, that old 3 Amigos, like it's a new rebranded, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, because it's his thing now.
Yeah, it's rebrand. It's fresh. So
it's great that it's still going.
Yeah.
There's so many skate shops that aren't.
Yeah, right. And it is a real shame.
It is a shame, yeah.
I'm kind of dying in the sun.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I don't think Dick's going to come over. And I think you've mentioned a lot of stuff. Yeah. Do you know the Three Amigos Instagram off?
It's Three Amigos Skate Shop.
So go check that out. Support Skater Own. Clearly our man Dick's a skateboarder.
They're online as well, threeamigos.com.
Go check it out. You know what to do. If you're really into skateboarding and you're watching this channel, you know what to do.
And I don't know when this is going out, but on the 27th there's a big event going on at the shop. The whole shop's being painted.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the shop, but outside the whole wall is painted with a massive mural. They're getting this guy Tall Boy, who's very like Jim Phillips, who used to do Santa Cruz graphics.
Right.
He's going to redo the whole shop. There's going to be a band playing.
So they're making an event out of rejigging the shop. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And to get down to London, you know what to do. Look up Three Amigos, get down there, support Skater Own shops. If you're in London, get over there, get over yourself, and get involved.
There you go.
Right. Francois, Pete, thank you very much. Say goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Peace
Three Amigos.
Out.